Namaste, good evening everyone. Welcome to this sacred and special evening, and we wanted to start with the waves of Om, which is chanted by Swami, which we have listened to all day long, all around the community, in all the offices, in all the departments, in not only in all Europe, in the groups, in the houses of devotees. So many people have opened the Om to immerse ourselves even more deeply into the cosmic consciousness of Swamiji. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this wonderful family of spirituality in this temple. And so much welcome to all of you at home, Guru Bhais in Italy and in all of Europe. I'm so sorry that this morning the internet connection didn't work for the meditation, but this evening our technicians have done a little miracle to have anyway an internet connection. It's so wonderful to have this time of connecting together in Swami's presence to honor his moksha, his infinite freedom. You know, it happened 13 years ago. It happened here in Anandaassisi, a place which he loved deeply. And everything here is permeated by his presence. This morning, Mahia reminded us of an ancient prophecy of 𝗙𝗀𝗃𝗁, which said that this would have been the last incarnation of Swami Kriyananda. So we want to honor his glorious life and his work that he done. So amazing. And we are the custodians of this. We have it in our hands, and all these last days have been dedicated to the fact that we have the privilege to take forward that his testament, his work. When a saint leaves the physical body, it's as if a big door would open up to the heavens, and there's a lots of light shining down. And this evening we want to very much open up to this divine blessing, our hearts, our spirits, to receive these great blessings which are tangible and really palpable here. Not only, I'm certain, also in your houses where you live, where you stay. I would like to read a few words from Swami, very inspiring. My life, more than that of many people, is not mine. It's been taken from my hands altogether when I went to Master. I never had the least desire that my existence would be different. I just live for my Guru and for his mission. The good that has come is much bigger than I would have ever imagined. I thank you all from the depth of my soul for the joy and for the privilege and dedication that we can serve Divine Mother and Master. These are wonderful words which reveal the great spiritual greatness of Swamiji. He always defined himself as a good disciple and gave all himself to serve his Master in every second and moment of his life. With that, we want to call even more deeply his presence into this evening. Please close your eyes and try to feel his presence, his living presence in this temple. Swami is here with us, and we can feel his bliss, his joy, his enthusiasm, his aura which is expanding to embrace each one of us, that fills this temple and goes far beyond this temple.
Arriva nelle vostre case,
Comes into your home, wherever you are,
e provate a percepire
and
Padre
try to
Swamiji davanti a voi
perceive Swami right in
che vi
front of
dà la
you,
sua benedizione,
giving you his
il
blessing,
suo tocco di luce.
his touch of light.
Provate a sentire l'amore infinito che lui aveva per ciascuno di noi.
Try to feel that infinite love he had for each one of us.
E anche magari a percepire un
And try to
messaggio
feel even
che
a
Swami ha per
message
noi, un messaggio
that
speciale,
Swami has for us, a special
forse un
message,
incoraggiamento
maybe of
in un
encouragement
periodo di sfida della nostra vita,
in a moment of difficulty in our life, or of
un prossimo
devotion,
passo,
or
o
the
forse un
next step for
suggerimento
you, or
come
just a
come Swami
suggestion how
sta
you can
offrendo
expand,
per come
help
portare
expand
avanti
this
questa grande
work,
missione
that great mission
per il Maestro che lui ha
for the
iniziato.
Master which he has started.
Magari questo messaggio non arriva subito,
Maybe
magari
this message doesn't
stasera,
even come
ascoltandolo
right
in
away.
replay o
Maybe it will come
registrato,
during the course of the
magari nei
evening,
prossimi giorni,
maybe in the next days.
ma restiamo aperti
But
e
just
connessi
remain open and
con la sua
connected
coscienza
with
infinita,
his infinite
con la
consciousness,
grazia che lui vuole
with the
continuamente
grace that he
donarci,
always is
se siamo
trying to
aperti a
channel to
ricevere.
us if we are only open to receive it.
Possiamo riaprire gli occhi
So then
e
open your
rimaniamo
eyes
mentre interiorizzati
and stay a little bit inward.
e vogliamo invitare ora il nostro bellissimo coro
We want to invite our beautiful choir,
che ci regalerà alcuni brani di Swami
which will give us
e
some
la sua
beautiful
musica sublime,
music
sublima,
of
quella
Swami,
musica che ci porta in
sublime
alto nella
music
sua
that elevates
coscienza e
us
anche che ci cura nella
into
nostra
higher
interiore.
consciousness, which
Ecco,
can even heal.
siamo molto onorati di avere questo
So
bellissimo coro
we are
che
honored to
ogni
have
volta
this
ci regalerà
beautiful
questa
choir,
musica speciale, per
which
cui vi
offers us this
invito a
special
venire sul
music.
palco e a
Please come
regalarci
up
questi brani e noi li possiamo
and
ascoltare
we
interiorizzati.
can listen to it very interiorized.
We need the mic? Or?
Yes.
We don't.
I think we can do it for the online.
Okay. Of course, it's not our voice, it's the online. No.
Do you want to explain the translate you should I? Allora, questo vogliamo cantare per voi il duetto, che è l'ultimo brano che Swami ha mai scritto. In verità non ha mai avuto l'opportunità di sentirlo nel corpo.
So we want to sing something for you. That's the last song that Swami Kriyananda ever wrote. And it's a duet dedicated to Divine Mother. And it's a melody that is not his, but it's from an opera. It is a divine love song, but it has been transformed into a divine mother love song.
Sembra bene di girare la nostra sala un po' e anche da voi.
Quindi vogliamo offrirlo tutti insieme a Swami.
We also turn a little bit to Swami because we sing it for him. So sorry for the shoulders.
Because I'm not sure you believe it.
Why do we practice?
Because we changed the last time.
𝗔𝗔ci, the Divine Mother, she who made the universe. 𝗔𝗔ci, the Divine Mother, ruler of every heart's desire. Love more ancient, bliss eternal, may our hearts soon be merged in thee. 𝗔𝗔ci, the Divine Mother, she who made the universe. 𝗔𝗔ci, the Divine Mother, ruler of every heart's desire. Love more ancient, bliss eternal, may our hearts soon be merged in thee. Love more ancient, bliss eternal, may our hearts soon be merged in thee.
Thank you. What a wonderful song which transmits the deep love of Swamiji to Divine Mother. And he certainly loved this gift for him. Thank you, Anand and Arudra. So the first part of this evening, which is a celebration, and it's part of his what he left us, which is his autobiography, The Path, the New Path. I believe here in the temple all of you have read the new path,
È un'opera grandiosa,
and it's a wonderful
accenna alla
work.
verità di Swami, la ricerca per Dio e l'incontro con il
It's
Maestro
just
e
his
il suo
story
amorosimo rapporto guru-discepolo ed è un'opera straordinaria che parla sempre molto
about his
d'amore, sempre
search
di
for God,
evangeli,
about
sempre
his
d'amore e
discipleship.
ci sono tante
And there are so many
tanti messaggi per
pearls and
l'anima.
messages for the soul
E
in
l'ho
it.
detto anche recentemente,
Recently,
così lo ricordo stasera,
I have said
noi l'abbiamo pubblicato in italiano nel 2013
we
e
published it
l'abbiamo
in
organizzato un grande
2013,
lancio con Swamiji, lui ha
and
lasciato il corpo
it
qualche
was
giorno
supposed to be there
di
was
questo lancio
supposed to be a launch
e
with him,
questo non era un caso,
but that was the year he
un
left
messaggio da
the,
lui proprio per
the
dire
body. It was not by
tutto quello
chance.
che ho fatto ai piedi del Maestro
It was
e
like
adesso
saying,
tocca a voi
you know,
portare
I have
avanti
done,
questa
given
opera,
everything to
questa
the feet of my
verità
master, and now it's up to
e
you
lui
to
ha
keep
tracciato il
going.
sentiero per noi, lui ce l'ha
He
mostrato
opened up
e
the
adesso
road
tocca
for
adesso
us,
che
and we have to travel
nella
it
libertà, nel
forward.
moksha e quindi adesso questa eredità
He
tocca a noi.
entered into
Noi ci
moksha, and
siamo lasciati questo libro
his
aperto
work is in our
perché
hands,
tutti noi potessimo
so
continuare
that
con la
we
nostra
all
opera,
have
con la nostra
a
divisione, con la
way of
nostra
serving
devozione,
with
con tutto ciò che
devotion
siamo.
and with
E
everything
questo
we
è un
are.
messaggio
It's a
del suo
strong
corpo per noi.
message from Swami to us.
Se vi ricordate come inizia il sentiero, dice una cosa molto bella, di cercare talvolta che un
The
essere
first
non
words
particolarmente eccezionale si imbatta nella mosca,
of
un evento,
the
una
new path is
persona
sometimes it happens that a
eccezionale
person
che
who is
trasforma
not very
completamente la sua
extraordinary
esistenza.
meets an extraordinary
Dice che
person,
una sua vita è stata
and
benedetta proprio da questo incontro
that
con il
and
Maestro nel
that what happened
1940.
was me. I met an
Allora,
extraordinary person,
ascoltate i
Yogananda,
precetti del
and my
sentiero, vi
life got
invito a leggerli
completely
proprio per
changed,
entrare in questo libro, perché questa prima pagina proprio ci dà il succo di questa opera, che è proprio questo legame profondissimo
because
tra
it
Swami
gives
e il Maestro. Quindi invito a Udra e poi ascolteremo Swamiji che lo
a
legge in
very clear
inglese,
picture
così
of
possiamo
guru
sentire anche
discipleship
la sua voce e la
relationship,
sua vibrazione.
and then we listen to Swami sing.
Accade qualche volta
Sometimes it
che un
happens
essere umano, pur non
that a
essendo di
human
per sé
being
eccezionale,
who is not
si imbatta
particular in himself meets
che infonde alla sua esistenza un grande significato.
an extraordinary person that infuses his life with great significance. My own life. Okay.
In America, emblema fra tutti i paesi di una parata efficienza, progresso materiale e competenze pragmatiche.
So the whole thing, anyway, will be read by Swami himself
È costantemente immerso
in a minute.
dell'eternità. Il suo nome era Paramhansa Yogananda. Veniva dall'India, anche se sarebbe più giusto dire che la sua patria era il mondo intero. Se qualcuno, prima di quell'incontro, mi avesse suggerito che potevano trovarsi dei limiti in un singolo essere umano, tanta radiosità, gioia dinamica, sincera umiltà e amore, avrei risposto, anche se forse con un sospiro di rimpianto, che tale perfezione non è raggiungibile dall'uomo. Se poi avesse aggiunto che in questa era scientifica sono accaduti dei miracoli divini, avrei riso di gusto. Allora, infatti, orgoglioso come ero dalla mia saggezza intellettuale, tipica del XX secolo, mi facevo beffe persino dei miracoli della Bibbia. Ora non più. Sono stato testimone di eventi che hanno sbeffeggiato la beffa stessa. Ora so, per esperienza diretta, che i miracoli divini accadono realmente sulla terra. Credo inoltre che stia arrivando un tempo in cui per innumerevoli uomini e donne dubitare di Dio sarà impensabile quanto dubitare dell'aria che respirano. Dio, infatti, non è morto. Solo l'uomo muore a tutto ciò che vi è di meraviglioso nella vita, quando si limita alle acquisizioni terrene e ad aumentare il proprio prestigio agli occhi del mondo, trascurando le realtà spirituali che sono il fondamento di ciò che egli è veramente.
Part 1, Chapter 1. The pilgrim whittles his staff. There are times when a human being, though perhaps not remarkable in himself, encounters some extraordinary person or event that infuses his life with great meaning. My own life was blessed with such an encounter more than 60 years ago, in 1948. Right here in America, of all lands the epitome of bustling efficiency, material progressiveness, and pragmatic know-how, I met a great God-known master whose constant vision was of eternity. His name was Paramhansa Yogananda. He was from India, though it would be truer to say that his home was the whole world. Had anyone suggested to me prior to that meeting that so much radiance, dynamic joy, unaffected humility, and love might be found in a single human being, I would have replied, though perhaps with a sigh of regret, that such perfection is not attainable by man. And had anyone suggested to me further that divine miracles have occurred in this scientific age, I would have laughed outright. For in those days, proud as I was in my intellectual 20th century so-called wisdom, I mocked even the miracles of the Bible. No longer. I have seen things that made a mockery of mockery itself. I know now from personal experience that divine wonders do occur on earth. And I believe that the time is approaching when countless men and women will no more think of doubting God than they doubt the air they breathe. For God is not dead. It is man only who dies to all that is wonderful in life when he limits himself to worldly acquisitions and to advancing himself in worldly eyes, but overlooks those spiritual realities which are the foundation of all that he truly is.
Beautiful.
Ci inchiniamo a Swami per queste parole meravigliose, per la sua vibrazione immensa. Swami ha incontrato un essere straordinario, ma anche noi abbiamo avuto la fortuna di incontrare un essere straordinario, che era proprio lui, il nostro Swami. E adesso vorrei invitare alcune grandi anime che hanno vissuto per molti decenni a fianco di Swamiji, che hanno servito insieme a lui, che hanno aiutato a realizzare questa grande missione per il Maestro e che sono state sempre al suo fianco e che condivideranno
So
alcuni ricordi.
I invite now a few people who will share and who have been with Swami, close to Swami. I'm talking about Swami and who he was, most of all about the book New Paths. The first one will be Naya Swami Kirtani, the director of this community, and she too gave all herself to this work and served at Swami's side and was chosen by Swami as the representative here. And so Kirtani will share. when Nandini suggested we should close the eyes and see if there's a message from Swami, one word came to me, which is attunement, because I feel if I should talk about why that book, The New Path, is to help us to attune with this great avatar, Paramhansa Yogananda. All of us, I think, have read Autobiography of a Yogi, and in that book, Master talked about all these saints he met in his life. What he did not do is talk about himself, about his state of consciousness. We have received so much from Master's book, Autobiography of a Yogi, from its vibration that he put into that book. But what was missing was a book that was talking about Paramhansa Yogananda, that helps us to really understand who he was. Swami himself said, we who were with Master, we didn't even understand so clearly who he was. And for Swamiji to dedicate his life to be a disciple and to perfect his life of discipleship, he said that was what gave him in the end the possibility to give him a little bit more a vision of who that great master was. The New Path is the autobiography of Swamiji. He doesn't talk about himself and his state of consciousness, but in this book, he gives us the opportunity, the possibility to have a taste of who Paramhansa Yogananda was. His great sense of humor. In this book there are so many stories, story after story. He gives us so much wisdom, and wisdom that he absorbed from Yogananda. And we are so grateful that we have met Swamiji. And those of you who have met him through books or music, we can all say we are so grateful for this channel who was Swamiji. It's a heavy book, look. It's a little heavy to put it in your but still you can do it because it's so full of wisdom. It's not only the mind, the wisdom of the mind, but the wisdom of the soul. How the avatar says one can become one with God. This book is called The New Path, earlier called The Path. Master called his work a new expression of the ancient path of self-realization. It's just a new expression. And it expresses again and again and again, also in this book, the new path. I think Swami wanted to write this book because he finished the other book. Let me use his words. He says, I finished it on a low note of tragedy of having been expelled from SRF. So the path, the earlier version, had this a little bit sad and heavy note, and he ended it with that he was thrown out of the organization of his Master Self-Realization Fellowship. And this book, this new path, finishes in an altogether different way, because, as he says in his book, this having been thrown out was the best thing that has ever happened to me. It was a personal tragedy, but with his continuous attunement of always wanting to do what the Master wanted, he came to the highest realization. Because, through that tragedy, everything that we now have, all his books, all his discourses, everything here, everything has been done, and has, because of that tragedy. Everything Swamiji did was possible because he didn't remain in that organization. For those who were here in the weekend, have heard about the testament of Swami, what he left us. It's a written testament, and he says, should there ever be an opportunity for Ananda and SRF to cooperate together in a positive way, everything reasonable should be done to make it possible. In this new book, The New Path, Swami tries to offer a way to go into the depth, attuning ourselves with Master. One of the most important things that Swami touches on this book very long in this new path is the dream of Master of communities, colonies of world brotherhood, as Yogananda called it. It was a dream of Master. And he tried even to materialize it, but he didn't succeed. Why? Because people in that time weren't really ready. They weren't attuned enough with the Master to understand what that means. Leave the work behind, leave the city behind, and to live together with people who are not your blood family. And so people weren't ready for that in Yogananda's time. And in this book, you hear things that Yogananda says that really inspire us to live, as Yogananda said, in spiritual cooperative communities and in the new path to inspire us. He wrote things will give us the inspiration to live a new lifestyle, even in our own family, to live a spiritual life, applying the things that Yogananda taught and that Swami Kriyananda shared, how to bring it into our families and into family life. I wanted to read to you. So, the principles taught by Paramhansa Yogananda will, if adopted, correct the spiritual imbalances of our times and of all times, but especially right now. And then he continues, cooperative spiritual communities are needed, especially as a means of fostering deeper spiritual awareness, so that the people who live together like that are like mirrors one for the other, to help to live ever better and in a higher way that what is our higher self. Then Swamiji continues, cooperative spiritual communities or world brotherhood colonies provide a vital solution to one of the most pressing needs of our times, an opportunity for those who want to develop spiritually to satisfy that desire in a supportive environment, and thereby to set for the rest of the world a dynamic example that spiritual principles really work, that they are practical. And then he continues by placing primary emphasis on spiritual values and God contact in meditation. Ananda developed gradually as a place of selfless dedication to God and to God in our fellow men. Then he continues, often I have felt Master's smile in my heart on seeing his World Brotherhood Colony dream become a material reality. His blessings on the land, an almost tangible aura of peace, are felt by everyone who comes here. I think those of you who are here now or at home, you follow and you know you feel that blessing of Masters of founding these World Brotherhood colonies. In inspiring people to live in this way, Yogananda said, spiritual communities, if they are small and if people can know each other, offer a type of life which is much more deep than what usually people can live. And I will finish with these words. And I feel this is the most important reason why Swami wrote this book. Man's relationship with God is intimate and infinitely dear. What I've hoped above all in writing this book has been to convince you, dear reader, to live more deeply for God, to love Him so completely that you become wholly absorbed in Him. Reading this book, you can find so many points that bring you closer into attunement, into love with God. And that's what I wish for all of you.
Grazie Kirtanici per aver portato alla luce queste perle, questo messaggio centrale della vita di Swami, le comunità, che tu hai saputo espandere così bene e portare avanti questa comunità. Io vorrei dare un applauso speciale a Kirtanici.
That applause was for Kirtani. There were many challenges in the community all these years, and she courageously brought forward this community. And I always said, if it was me to carry on my shoulders the responsible for the community, I wouldn't have done it. It was masters and all the people who live here in the Ananda communities.
Adesso vogliamo sentire il nostro carissimo 𝗙𝗰𝗲, che anche lui è stato tanto tempo vicino a Swamiji.
I want to hear our very dear 𝗙𝗰𝗲, who was very close to Swamiji for many years, and Swami gave him a special mission to write books and to bring forward these seeds that he planted. So 𝗙𝗰𝗲 already wrote many works of art, and so I invite him to share his experience and great closeness and attunement with Swamiji. Thank you, 𝗙𝗰𝗲. When I first read The New Path, I didn't know Swamiji, and I thought, if I ever have had to write, this is how I want to write. When I read this book, I knew this man, I know this man. There was an inner closeness immediately, a recognition. And it was beautiful when Rudra read this first phrase. If you really listened, the way he wrote it, there's so much rhythm in his writing. He wrote his books and he revised them, edited them. They're not only thoughts, they're also vibrations. They're really the rhythms of the phrases. If you really listen, it's like music. And that's also why the affirmations that he created, there's a musicality in those, there's a rhythm to the affirmations. And I also have a bit of an ear for that, not only with music for the music, but music of the word. And this is really a work of art, really a priceless work of art. If you read it and you hear it in your mind when you read it, it really has a beautiful music. I'll try to speak very, very shortly, something that Kirtani already touched on, which is discipleship. In the introduction, Swamiji writes, this book, The New Path, I could have called it The Gospel of Paramhansa Yogananda. A gospel it's the apostles who wrote the Gospels. So, and he was an apostle of the Master, because it's the vision of the disciple of his master, describing who the master is. And as 𝗙𝗃 said, of how can we be a good disciple? How do you live discipleship? The whole book is full of discipleship. How do we live that? And it touches all of the elements. The first element is love. What is it that Yogananda said right away to Swami Kriyananda? I give you my unconditional love. It's a beautiful story to read and reread. This is the heart of everything. And he asked, and you, will you give me your unconditional love? That is the secret of the life of a disciple. Then if you read with attention, attentively, it's not only spiritual. Yogananda taught body, mind and soul. There's letters, photograph letters in this book that he wrote to Swami, and he said, come with me to edit books. And he said, every 2 hours, when you worked, after 2 hours of work, get up and for 5 or 10 minutes, run around the building, around the house. Move the body. Keep body fit for self-realization. There's beautiful stories also about diet, about food, about how... But you remember James Collar, who was in the car in the evening and he was really hungry. Do you remember that story? And everything was closed apart from one place that only had hamburgers. And he said, oh, it's okay, Master God, no. And he ate one and he was very good, so he ate another one. And Master said, later when he didn't make a huge thing about, oh, you ate hamburgers. He didn't, that was not his way. But he said at the end of our conversation, he said, you know, next time, if you are at night in a car and there's nothing to eat apart from hamburgers, better not eat anything. And so also for the body, he gave us indications also in this way, also for the mind. I remember when Swami, when he was a bit down, and Swami said, how are you, Walter? And he said, well, and Master said, well, good. So don't fall into that ditch, get out. And when he spoke with a psychologist, I don't know if you remember this story, but a psychologist heard Swami Kriyananda speak, and the psychologist thought, this guy's crazy. And later they spoke together, Swami Kriyananda and this psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist said, well, these guys are crazy. And Swami, to convince him, told him about the miracles that he had seen. He really wanted to convince the man, you know, this is true, I've seen these miracles. And this man, this psychiatrist even said, yeah, this guy is totally crazy. And next time when he saw Yogananda, when Yogananda saw Swami, he said, you know, Swami didn't tell him anything, and Yogananda said, you know, when you're with atheists and materialists who don't believe in miracles, better not speak about miracles. This is very important if we apply it to ourselves. You don't have to tell stories and spiritual experiences to people who cannot understand it. We have to talk to each one in an appropriate way, not tell about spiritual things because we believe it, to people who don't believe in them. So that was the mind, body, mind, soul. And then soul, my favorite story, is where Swami was very, very intellectual. Do you remember that? He was in Encinitas, and he turned off all of the lights, Yogananda, and they heard this crack, crack, crack of a bag, paper bag, and Yogananda put something out with lights turned off, and they saw these sparks coming out of a gun. And Swami was shocked. And then again, more sound. And then Yogananda had this little pistol, that shot a little man with a parachute that then kind of slowly went down to the floor. And Yogananda had so much fun, like a child. And he said to Swami, Christ's words, suffer little children to come unto me, for of such is the kingdom of God. This is just one story on the level of the soul. We have to become like children, completely open, innocent. This is what I saw in Swami as well. In moments of real play and fun and games, just like a child. But if those who are not really a little bit of a child inside, it's hard for them to find the kingdom of God.
Grazie Giorgio, è sempre bellissimo quello che condividi, queste storie sono stupende e questo libro è pieno. Allora iniziamo adesso.
So the book is so full of these things.
Di Ananda, e anche lei è stata molto vicina a Swami, anche come sua segretaria per diversi anni.
Now we invite Uma. She was secretary of Swami and she always gives a lot of wisdom about these teachings. And she has a passion for sharing the teachings. Sorry.
When I arrived at Ananda village in 1976,
Quando sono arrivata al Ananda Village nel 1976, Swami stava finendo il libro Il sentiero in Hawaii.
And this picture is exactly how Swami looked.
Questa immagine fa esattamente vedere come era Swami all'epoca.
And I love that we're still using the same photograph.
Ed è meraviglioso che ancora usiamo questa foto.
Because it shows Swamiji really in the middle of his life in terms of his spirit, his health, everything about the work that he had to do is in this picture.
Perché fa vedere questa immagine proprio il centro della vita di Swami quando era immerso, era vitale, in salute, ha fatto l'opera che doveva fare.
And this is how he looked and felt and was when I worked with him.
E questo era esattamente come era fisicamente e come anche era il sentimento di lui quando ho lavorato io con lui.
And then we fast forward to the new path.
E poi andiamo avanti al nuovo sentiero.
And it's so interesting to hear Swamiji talk about Master.
È tanto interessante ascoltare Swami che racconta del Maestro.
And say, the reason that he wrote the book was to say more about Master, because Master didn't say very much about himself in his autobiography.
Dicendo che la ragione per cui ha scritto questo libro è di raccontare di più sul Maestro, perché il Maestro di se stesso parla poco nell'autobiografia.
And all of the, I think of all of the things that Swami says about Master, we all feel about Swami.
Tante cose che Swami racconta del Maestro sono le stesse cose che noi sentiamo di Swami.
Like, the idea of showing what a disciple is, or how we should follow a great master, how we should be a disciple.
L'idea di far vedere come è un discepolo o l'idea come poter seguire un vero maestro da discepolo.
I've told this story before, but having lunch once with Swami and a small group of people.
Avevo raccontato in precedenza questa storia, ma una volta a pranzo con un gruppo di persone con Swami,
and Swamiji was asked by someone at the table, what was it really like being with Master?
e qualcuno a tavola ha chiesto a Swami, ma come era veramente stare col maestro?
And the implication behind the question was, don't tell us what you tell the public. Tell us what you would tell us, behind closed doors, privately.
L'intenzione della domanda era non raccontarci le cose che racconti pubblicamente, ma raccontaci un po' le cose vere che si racconta dietro alle porte chiuse.
And Swamiji took the question very seriously.
E Swami ha preso molto letteralmente, molto seriamente questa domanda.
And he put down his knife and fork.
Ha messo giù la forchetta e
And he
il
was like
coltello.
this, looking down at his plate.
Ha guardato giù al suo piatto.
And he just looked up and he said one word, inconvenient.
E ha alzato lo sguardo e ha detto sconveniente.
And then he went on to explain what he meant by that.
E dopo ha spiegato cosa voleva dire.
One of the main things he said was, Master, always was way ahead of all of us, and so we were always trying to keep up.
E ha detto una cosa, ad esempio, è che il maestro era tanto avanti di tutti noi abbiamo fatto la corsa per tenere il passo.
So you always felt, Swamiji was saying, like you were chasing behind him. Wait.
Swamiji stava dicendo, tutti noi stavamo facendo la caccia, cioè correndo per raggiungere il maestro.
And of course all of us at the table were looking at each other and thinking and looking, that's what it's like working with and being with Swamiji.
E tutti noi a tavola ci siamo guardati uno l'altro dicendo esattamente come è stare con Swamiji.
No different.
Non è diverso.
Great souls, great masters, saints and sages
Grandi maestri, grandi anime, santi e saggi
are wanting to share, wanting to tell us
vogliono condividere e vogliono dirci
who and what we really are.
chi e cosa siamo veramente.
That the physical world is truly a dream. I can't tell you how often I've said those words in the last 2 days. Life is a dream.
Che il mondo materiale veramente è nient'altro che un sogno. Non so quante volte l'ho detto in questi ultimi 2 giorni.
The challenges of this physical body.
A causa delle sfide del mio corpo fisico.
It's life is a dream.
La vita è un sogno.
Be absolutely certain of this.
Dobbiamo essere sicurissimi di questa cosa.
And Swamiji, bless his heart and soul, had so much more physical challenges than I will ever know.
E Swamiji veramente ha avuto tante più difficoltà fisiche di tutte le mie, eccetera.
And the fact of that is a wonderful image that I carry with me.
E il fatto di questo è una immagine meravigliosa che tengo con me.
During interesting times.
Durante i miei periodi interessanti.
And the idea of the example of Swamiji, his life, his way of working with people, his way of working with his own physical limitations, and his way of working with the physical plane.
Il modo di Swami di lavorare con le persone, di lavorare qui su questo piano materiale.
And all of that is expressed in the stories that Swamiji tells of Master.
E tutte queste storie si esprimono nelle storie che Swami racconta sul maestro.
That the same things that apply to great souls apply to every soul.
I principi che si applicano alle grandi anime si applicano a ogni anima.
They're just further down the road than we are, that's all.
Sono più avanti sulla strada rispetto a noi, ma ecco tutto qua.
But we all have to walk the same road.
Ma tutti siamo sulla stessa strada.
Nobody gets to go around or cheat or not have to go through karma and everything else that's before us all.
Nessuno può fare a sinistra e a destra scappare, scarrare. Ognuno deve andare avanti, affrontare il proprio karma, superare le cose, così per tutti noi.
So the idea of, why Swami wrote the book, yes, to share Yogananda with the world.
Allora l'idea, perché Swami ha scritto questo libro? Sì, per condividere Yogananda col mondo.
But also, very particularly, he said, through the eyes, I want to share his story through the eyes of a disciple.
Ma poi in maniera particolare ha detto, voglio condividere queste storie attraverso gli occhi di un discepolo.
And Swamiji being a perfect example.
E Swamiji essendo un esempio perfetto
Of what a disciple is.
di ciò che è un discepolo.
And watching that in his daily life.
E osservare questo nella sua vita quotidiana.
Was one of the greatest blessings of my life.
Era
Our life.
una delle benedizioni più grandi nella mia vita e nella nostra vita.
Today, this morning, when I opened up the new path, I forgot. Amazingly forgot.
Stamattina, quando ho aperto il nuovo sentiero, io curiosamente mi sono dimenticata.
And I opened it, and there's his little citation that he wrote to me.
Perché lì dentro, prima pagina, c'è una dedizione a me.
To beloved Nayaswami Uma.
C'è scritto per l'amata Nayaswami Uma.
And it was like a little blessing right then and there. I held the book to my heart for a moment. I forgot that it was in there. I'm sure it's in everybody's that he signed, but I forgot. And there he was.
Era una benedizione istantanea e il libro ho preso stretto al mio cuore perché veramente mi sono dimenticata che c'era questa dedizione. Ma eccola qua.
And many of the things, many of the ways that Swamiji wrote about Master.
E tanti modi come Swamiji ha scritto sul Maestro.
His humility, his sense of humor.
Della sua umiltà, il senso di umorismo.
His grace,
graciousness. Grazie, essere grazioso.
His openness to people.
La sua apertura in confronto alla gente.
These are all qualities of Swamiji.
Sono tutte anche qualità di Swamiji.
And you see it in those that, as both Jayadeva and Kirtani said, are attuned and in sync with that vibration.
Che sono perfettamente in sintonia, come è già stato detto prima, con questa stessa vibrazione.
And what does a sense of humor translate to?
E il senso di umorismo, come si esprime?
It's great joy.
È grande gioia.
It's joy in life.
Gioia nella vita.
It's joy in what Master has to bring us.
Gioia in ciò che il Maestro ha da offrirci.
Regardless of what you are going through.
A prescindere di ciò che devi attraversare.
Regardless of what this crazy body is doing.
A prescindere di ciò che sta facendo questo corpo matto.
There is never a reason to say on the spiritual path, I will have joy when.
Non c'è mai una ragione sul sentiero spirituale di dire avrò la gioia quando.
When, everything is easier.
Quando
better,
tutto è un po' più facile.
Etc.
Quando tutto è un po' più facile, diverso, meglio.
And all of this is expressed in Swamiji's book.
E tutto ciò è espresso, viene descritto nel libro di Swami.
You learn about a person through energy, magnetism, vibration.
Tu impari da una persona, dal magnetismo, dall'energia, dalla vibrazione.
And that's how we all learn.
E come tutti noi impariamo.
And so opening that book,
Aprendo quindi questo libro,
receiving the vibrations,
ricevendo le sue vibrazioni,
we are uplifted and opened
siamo elevati e aperti
spiritually
spiritualmente,
in very, very profound and deep ways.
in modi molto profondi e seri.
Read the book.
Leggete il libro.
Grazie anche a Uma per queste meravigliose condivisioni. Siamo molto in ritardo, ma è una serata molto speciale.
We are a little bit late, but it's a special celebration. So how is everyone awake and ready?
Allora, adesso abbiamo ascoltato tante parole, ci siamo
We've listened to so many words,
c'è tutta una seconda parte.
but there's a second part now.
Completamente musicale.
It's completely musical.
Che ha preparato un
I invite Darshan, who prepared a little concert of music by Swami, and we will emerge in his music now,
di questa musica sacra.
enjoying sacred music.
Quello che avevo
Thank you for what you have prepared for this evening.
La prima parte suoniamo due brevi pezzi musicali di Swami,
Two short
legato
pieces of music.
anche al libro, all'autobiografia.
It's even connected to the autobiography. Mihai will read a few words on Swami's youth, and will play something from his youth, from Swami's youth, and then we keep going. Romania was still a feudal land. Its people, gifted artistically, tended otherwise to be somewhat inefficient and unhurried. The country was an anachronism in the busy 20th century. Its workmen could spend 15 years with picks and shovels digging a tunnel under the railway tracks at the main station in the capital. One summer, eager to follow the example of the rest of the modern world, the whole nation, by official mistake, went on daylight losing time. They went in the wrong direction. Driver's tests included such penetrating questions as, what goes on the front of the car? Headlights, naturally. Years later, Indra Devi, the well-known yogi teacher, told me that while traveling by train through Romania, she had once been asked by the conductor what she was doing in the second-class compartment. Why can't you see I have a second-class ticket? Oh, that doesn't matter in Romania. Please just sit in the first class where everyone else is. Inattention, however, to the petty details of modern commerce and efficiency seemed somehow appropriate in a land that inspired thoughts of music and poetry. Romania was one of the most fascinatingly beautiful countries I have ever seen. A land of fertile plains and soaring mountains, of colorful clad peasants and musically gifted gypsies, of hay carts on the highways vying with automobiles for the right of way, of giggling naked children, of gay songs and laughter. Frequently, outside our colony in the evenings, we could hear bands of gypsies conversing, singing, and playing the violin, the sad, haunting melodies of a people forever outcast from their true home in India. These gypsies were my first contact with the subtly subjective moods of the Orient, moods that, I was to learn, are reflected in many aspects nation. There still clung to her something of the aura of the mystical East.
Springtime in Armenia. Primavera in Armenia.
Springtime in Romania, gay songs on the trees, bright flowers in the meadow, sunlit memories. Shepherd's flutes still echo down the twisting years. Gypsy violins still play, laughter tinged with tears. Still the soft notes linger in the fading light, touch our hearts with sadness, dewdrops in the night. Touching hearts with sadness, dewdrops in the night.
Degli antichi Celti, Swami si sintonizzava con quella vibrazione e compose delle melodie che sono allo stesso tempo antiche ma anche completamente nuove, sempre nuove. New Dawn, una nuova alba.
New Dawn?
Sì. Celtic moonrise. Il sorgere della luna celtica. chiama Sailing the Blue Sea.
Bravissimi, Riccardo, Mihai e Darshan. Veri professionisti, bravi. Swami sarebbe molto felice, sicuramente. Allora ci avviciniamo alla conclusione, scusate che è un po' tardi stasera, ma abbiamo messo tante cose. Swami ci ha donato così tanto e quindi era difficile mettere tutto insieme stasera, per cui abbiamo fatto del nostro meglio per dare un piccolo tocco, un piccolo assaggio
So Swami Kriyananda gave us so much. We are late, but there's so much that we've had many aspects, and we are now at the end. It's a symbolic offering of a candle for those who are here in the temple. You can do that at home maybe too. You can offer a candle to the altar. And we have here a little card that says, "My gift to Swami." And you can just think what you want to give to Swami. Maybe 10 days of a spiritual practice, or an act of forgiveness, or a block. Something that you want to give to Swami. Maybe even a project where you want to put your energy in, that it may expand.
Quindi sentite interiormente il vostro dono a Swamiji e questo rimane fra voi.
This is just between you and Swami. It's your gift.
Si è offerto completamente al Maestro, anche noi vogliamo offrire la nostra luce e la nostra energia.
So our energy, our light. And Riccardo will play Emerald Isle from Swami to offer.
Di offerta e di ringraziamento a Swami.
insieme, Padre Celeste, Divina Madre, amico amato Dio, Gesù Cristo, Babaji Krishna, 𝗷𝗫𝗀𝗺, Swami Kriyananda,
Saints and sages of all religions, beloved Swamiji, we bow to you all. Guruji, Swamiji, we thank you for your inspiration in our life, and for your guidance, and for our teachings, and for the blessings that you give to us abundantly, that we may share them with all. We are here to attune ourselves with your ray. Guide us in this effort. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you for all who have stayed so far with us. Thanks for the musician. And obviously we all bow to the feet of Swamiji. May his blessings accompany you on your individual path and for the moksha that Swami is hoping for each of us. Buonanotte, good night.